Jackie Kashian, Laurie Kilmartin.
Starting now?
Yes. Hey, let's start the real show right now. What do you think?
Okay. What a day. It's Wednesday. Wait, it's Tuesday, but what were you doing when you heard about Montreal?
Scrolling, doom scrolling. What were you doing?
I was on a walk. I was ideally off the internet, and I checked someone texted something to me, and then my poor dog just had to sit while I, dealt with it tweet-wise in several chat groups.
It affects so much. All of the people who lost jobs. We're talking about Just for Laughs in Montreal has gone bankrupt and has decided not to do their festival this year, which is huge. I mean, it's huge in the French community and it's huge in the English community, but it's huge for American comics. And then there's the hundreds of people who work for Just for Laughs, who have families and lives, and this is their income.
And there's the city of Montreal. Yeah. I mean, how much money did they make off of that too? Right. But also, like, I think I did my New Faces in 98 or 97. I forget. I was with Jimmy Dore. That's all I know. But I know it, like, we coming up, we were told as comics were up until today, you gotta do New Faces. You got to get on New Faces. And it became harder and harder to get on New Faces because there's so many more faces. But, it was one of those things where when you got it, you felt like you had just you leveled up, whether it actually did anything for you. That's always debatable, but not wanting it anymore was such a relief as a comic, to
once you get it. Yeah.
Then you hear people talking about their JFL. You're like, oh yeah, I remember wanting that so badly. It was a thing, and a lot of great people never got it, which, and they all have chips on their shoulders. Understandably, I'm surprised it wasn't me, because I love having a chip on my shoulder from something I didn't get, MTV's half-hour comedy hour. But
let me introduce the words Letterman to you.
I went back further. I went back to the original wound.
Right.
And then I
cuts as deep. Still cuts as deep.
I did the Masters in 2006, which it's like I was a master almost 20 years ago. That's there you go. But I was pregnant. I was like 7 months pregnant, and the only person I remember being on my show was Cat Williams, and I shared a dressing room with him, and I didn't know who he was. I'm like, I thought it was he just had a Prince-like energy, and I do believe he was wearing purple. But because he was quite short, and he just walked in like he owned it, and he had people with him. He had I didn't have anyone with me, and I was like, oh, we're on the same show. It's really strange, but you and I went to Montreal together. We've been separately. It's so much fun, and it's a real bummer that it's not going to exist anymore.
Right. I love that. I love that city so much. And the festival was always super crowded, but the audiences were so great. They were just so interested in stand up. It's genuinely super sad, just because I think you're right. I think that I know that the city supplemented, did a lot of sort of help to pay for the festival. But there was a lot of money that went into the local businesses from all the comics and industry and everybody who came, and people who came in from the woods of Canada hi, Charmy. And guess who's not a puppy anymore? Charmy. And I've had a couple of texts from Canadian comics telling me that they're getting a lot of radio and a lot of emails that say it's like comics who are from Canada who never got to do JFL, who are like, why is the first emails I'm getting that have JFL in the subject line not booking requests? Very sad and slightly triggering, I guess. So
I'm sure. I mean, does this affect, somebody was saying in a chat, I think JFL owns a channel on Sirius where Canadian comics are played exclusively. And does this affect any of that? And Sound Exchange and all that stuff. Like I know it's a big deal if this is all going down. It's really, I mean, even just the festival is bad, you know, even if you never got it, it was still good for comedy, you know, which benefits you in some level, you know?
Right. Yeah. Whatever, all of these festivals. I remember when HBO Aspen went away.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. And it wasn't as many years as this. I think this is like 40 years or something.
They had some anniversary that was either a 40 or a 50 year, but yeah, it was.
Right. It was a big one. Yeah. And, but yeah, I remember and then it took Aspen a couple of years to figure out that they could have their own festival that they would just run themselves, like whoever their theater runners were.
Oh,
so
see.
I don't know. And hopefully they don't, because all of those people who worked for JFL for so many years have so much experience in booking comedy and running comedy and running venues and running comics and making and transportation and housing and all these things.
Right. I wonder if, I mean, it still exists as an entity. Could somebody buy it? You know, could somebody else buy it and keep it going? Or is
right. Well, that's something that happens. Right. That's what happens when corporations get bankrupted. They don't usually go away. You know, they sort of regroup and somebody else runs them.
This feels
right?
like yeah, you are not talking to an expert, but like, you know, somebody could buy it and chop it into little pieces like they do with the media and destroy it, I guess, a different way. But I don't know. It's such a, to me, I thought the city of Montreal loved it. You know, it seemed like, and you know, well, I mean, who there's like jazz festivals that would I'm like, does Monterey still have a jazz festival? I don't even know. It's so iconic. I'm really surprised. I mean, Howie Mandel bought JFL, right? A couple of years ago.
I remember something about that. Yes.
So I don't know what that has to do with it.
I know that they don't. That I know that JFL does not have anything to do with. They were just marketing partners with Moon Tower.
Oh,
they were not. There was no ownership at all. Moon Tower is owned locally and sort of like a boutonniere on the lapel of Moon Tower. They were just marketing partners, right?
Somebody's been reading romance novels.
Well, it's that's how it was described to me. So,
I see.
But I have been reading romance novels. This week's Dork Forest is about romance novels. I interviewed a romance writer, super nice woman who got really shy once we were talking. So luckily, romance novels are my dorkdom. So feel free to listen to this week's Dork Forest, where I explain to an author of romance novels how much I like romance novels.
Well, yeah. So that was just this morning. I don't even know I can't even remember what
I'm
else
still
happened
stunned. Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. Oh,
right.
I have something I just want to put out there for people.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jackie, you know, my last name is Kilmartin. You're aware of this, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
One L.
That's not even an issue. Whatever. You can say do 2 L's. Here's my point is, like, I understand it's not a common last name. You know, it's Kilmartin is Irish. Kill is a Celtic prefix like Fitz or Mick or O, I think, you know. So Gil, you know, Kilmartin. I can understand if you would think my name is Kilpatrick, right? If you don't know me, because it's bread. Like, I get it. Kilmartin's a very tiny family. There's not many of us. A lot of us died in the famine. Okay, so I understand a lack of familiarity with the last name Kilmartin. What I gave the world in the early 90s was a way to remember it. And that way is, if I marry Charlie Sheen, my name would be Laurie Kilmartin Sheen. That's what I generously gave the world. That
was your gift.
Yes. It was my gift to the world. Now, some people aren't familiar or don't even know who Charlie Sheen is. That's how far we've fallen as a culture. That's fine.
Right, the late 1900s. You're talking about the late 1900s. Go ahead.
So, if you had to come up with another, is it a mnemonic when you create something to help you remember a name? Is that what that is?
Mnemonic? I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
it helps.
So if the mnemonic that you come up with in your head when you're introducing me at a comedy show to remember my last name invokes the assassination of Martin Luther King.
Right, because it's
all
Kill
I ask,
Martin.
All I ask is that you don't include that in my intro. Is that too much to ask?
No, that is not. That is not.
Do I have to go up on stage with the audience thinking of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King?
Right. And
Thank
especially
you.
Black History Month. No.
Thank you. That's
Right.
all.
Yeah.
That's all.
That is all. That is
Just
all.
putting that out
there.
there.
Are other Martins. There's other Martins. Martin Short, right?
Jackie, I gave you the perfect one because there's two different celebrities in it, and it's a father-in-law. Martin Short is the obvious choice. Everyone tries to, kill Martin Short. Yeah, that's pretty on the nose. I gave you a same-age son, Charlie Sheen, and then my name would kill my father-in-law. That's a lot. And for people to reject that and throw in Martin Short is embarrassing. Why do I write?
Of the writing of this joke is
you.
Unforeseen. Yes, I did not. I'm so sorry I missed the nuance of because I did, and it isn't. It's on me. I'm batting 0 today.
Mm-hmm. Why don't I marry Steve Martin? I'd be Laurie Kill Martin. I mean, let's keep going with the ones that only take out one celebrity at a time. I did 2 celebrities that are related.
Yes, you did. And
I
think we all admire. There we go. I am in Las Vegas at the Comedy Cellar. Did 2 shows last night. Here's what happened. So I was in New York City last week, 8 days.
Ooh, yeah.
I was supposed to see Dick Cavett on Thursday. It turns out I had accepted a show that night, which later I was told that I should have just canceled that show, but it wasn't a stand-up show. I didn't feel replaceable.
Oh, the debate show?
Yeah, it was the debate show. I was told later she would have figured it out, Jackie. You should have gone to meet Dick Cavett. Because I didn't get to meet Dick Cavett. But I felt a responsibility to do that show. So, and it was tea versus coffee. Emmy Blotnick just slayed. She just destroyed me. You know
what did she take? Yeah, what did
she was
take?
pro coffee.
That's a brutal combo.
I was team tea because I like both. I like both, and I was willing to be on either with Mike Kaplan.
Even the fact that you like both is terrible. You are unqualified. You should have been removed from the panel.
Well, now see, Emmy Blotnick, pro tea, was also a big fan of tea, but she told an amazing story of how right after the inauguration of Donald Trump, she thinks that tea is very, very sad. And she joined something right after in January 5th of 2016. She sent me a screenshot of her. She joined something called Steepster, like Friendster, but about tea. And she was like, I literally should have been sitting in my apartment clutching a locket. I'm talking about tea with people. I have 17 followers. I have 6 teas in my cupboard. And the only comment that she's gotten on one was one that was discontinued. And the comment was, I'm so sorry. I never got to try this tea. It made me laugh so hard. And Mike Kaplan and I wrote one joke for the debate, and that was there's no coffee in team. And Mike Kaplan went first, and he also wrote that joke.
Oh, no.
But luckily, Matt Kirshen had given me, who is British, had given me a lot of tea-related things to riff on and some good jokes.
And so I got to his own country.
He did it. He did it right. He followed it up. But it was Tim Barnes and Mia. I forget Mia's last name. She'd probably make a great comic of the week. We'll have to find her. I'll have to find her out. And then Kevin Allison was filled out our team T. And anyway, but get this, Dick Cavett had to work. Dick Cavett's 87.
Wow.
He had to
Jackie,
work,
that's
so he
why-
wasn't going to make it back until after 3 p.m.
Is he?
And my show, and he's in Connecticut, and so my show was in Upper West Side, and I wasn't going to make it back on a Thursday night.
Wow.
Even if I just met him, shook his hand, and turned around and drove back. It wasn't going to
Jackie,
work.
did Team T even win the debate?
I was real close. I thought it was even, but in the Team Coffee squeak through.
Wow. So
You wouldn't have
that's
thought they had a chance, did you? Yeah.
No, I'm saying
Two
they could have lost without you, right? But while you were meeting Dick Cavett, but they lost with you.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. I am sorry to do this on camera. I, in the last days of my time in New York, cracked one of my molars in half in the back of my mouth, and I haven't been able to go to a dentist. So I have been eating out of the left side of my mouth and putting Orajel on the right side of my mouth to numb the pain of my cracked molar in the back of my face.
Understandable.
Mm.
I picked up a gig at the Improv in Irvine tomorrow.
Oh, right. Oh, good.
So last week I did Comedy Juice at the Irvine Improv, right? And I went up last, and had a very good set.
Yeah.
And so when they needed someone to fill in, they asked for me. So I'm filling in for the original headliner. I don't know if I'm supposed to say, so I won't. But that person can't do the gig, so I'm gonna.
It's I think it's okay to say, because I mean it's the Irvine Improv on March 6th.
Yeah,
is that correct?
It's Maria. She can't do it.
Maria had to cancel. She had to cancel Oxnard on Sunday. She has a bad flu. It's not COVID. She's just not feeling well. And here's the thing: if people show up on March 6th hoping to see Maria, or just coming anyway, they're going to be okay seeing you. They're going to be psyched. I think they're going to have a really good time.
I mean,
and just go, we didn't get to see Maria, but I'm psyched to now be introduced to Laurie Kilmartin.
Yes. I'm not a singular talent as Maria Bamford is, but I'm decent. I'm not bad. I'm a hard worker.
You're better than all of that, right?
And
you're very earnest.
I mean well, and my last name is Laurie Kilmartin Sheen. So
Kilmartin Sheen.
I think we all...
No, thank you. We've already talked about how great. So it's going to be when this drops, the night of that, you're going to be doing the improv, the Irvine Improv.
Yeah. So if you're in Orange County, and God help you if you are, just forget about your housewives, who are the worst, and come to the show.
I'm in Las Vegas doing 1,000 shows at the Comedy Cellar. Jen Kober's over at the Brad Garrett, and Tom Rhodes is at the Laugh Factory.
Oh, cool.
And I'm gonna, if I can, set up sort of a comedy lunch. Andy's supposed to come tomorrow as well.
Nice.
Because he has a game. There's a game convention at the Rio, which is where the Comedy Cellar is. Which is why I asked Esty for this week, so that we could have a little time together. And we've got someone to take care of his mama for the weekend, and so we're gonna have a little time, a little weekend away.
I love
someone to take care of the mama and the dogs and the cat and everything.
Away in your favorite city, Las Vegas, at your favorite hotel, the Rio, the most modern of hotels.
Let me tell you something about this. They have redone this entire tower.
Oh, okay.
So it is amazing.
Oh, that's nice. I like it. I like it.
What's enormous?
Wow. Yeah. Do you have a fridge in there?
Yeah, there's a fridge and a wine fridge for no reason. And of course, no bathtub. Do you know why? Because everybody wants to stand under a shower and cry. And
I have another reason. I wrote about this in my book, Dead People Suck. Because I said you should take the bathtub out of your house before you get too old, because that's the first thing people trip on is getting in and out of the shower, stepping into the bathtub. And I
Right.
said, just go, if you need to take a bath, go to a hotel. Well, that chapter is now null and void
That's over.
because
null and
hotels
void.
figured out that they don't want to
liability?
pay. Yeah, if someone cracks their head while they're stepping over a bathtub, they would rather you just walk
Well-
in elegantly to a shower.
As per usual, I would like to speak for the entire country of Japan.
Not this
This is
again.
what
Always.
bathing. It's healthier. Who read Jitterbug Perfume? Come on. Anyway.
Oh,
so,
I didn't. Is that a Tom Robin? Wait,
Yes.
Tom.
Yeah,
What's his last name?
I think it is Tom Robbins.
Tom Robin.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I read it was the first one I read and it changed my life. It was sort of like I read that and Illusions the same summer when I was
By
19.
Richard something. I remember
Richard
that-
Bach.
Everybody read
Good.
Illusions. Oh my god, it was supposed to be life
It was
changing,
Jonathan
right?
Livingston Seagull.
Yes.
Everyone read Jonathan Livingston
God.
Seagull and Illusions.
And look how awful we turned out. What a
Look how humanity is still broken, even though those guys had the think system from the Music Man. Yeah,
yes.
so New York, I spent a week doing sets at the Cellar and sets at the Stand, and I did one at a bowling alley in Brooklyn that felt soothing because it felt more normal to my LA pick up a set, work on some new stuff. Because
work on some new stuff. You don't want to work on new stuff at those clubs, you know. It just, especially when you're just visiting.
No, you don't.
You know?
No, you want to kill. You want to do very well.
Yeah.
And you know what? That I actually appreciate you confirming that, because I think I'm just going to go to the vault this week as well. And last night George Wallace did a couple of guesties.
Nice.
I know. And get this. I walk up to him because he wasn't in the green room at all. He was just sitting in the main room wearing a mask, by the way, and wore it during his set.
I know. Oh, during his
And-
I think he did that at Comedy and Magic. I know he wore one backstage. So did Helen Hong.
Yeah.
She and I were hanging out recently.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I walked up to him in between shows to just go, hi, we met very briefly. It's very nice to see you. And he goes, thank you for coming over and saying hi. You know what that's like, and keep moving, kid. He was very nice though, and very polite. I had to follow him last night, second show.
Oh my god!
And I
Who
was
else
like,
are you working with?
is, Noah, the longest name in the world, German.
Schwartz. Yes, he's
yeah,
married to
that's him.
Esther, and they just had a baby. Yes.
And he is a delight. A San Francisco comic who knows you named Chris something, Storm, maybe? And everyone knows us. You may not. He's super young. Nice guy. And then, of course, Orlando.
Confirm that his name is Storm.
Okay.
Well,
do me a favor,
but
Kyle. Comedy Cellar, if you could look at the Comedy Cellar lineup and tell me everybody's name, because Orlando, I'm going to get his last name wrong, is close friends with Carmen Morales, and I've met him a half a dozen times, and he's always a delight.
Is this the Cellar in Vegas or in New York?
Yep, Vegas.
And Jackie,
And
while Kyle is looking that up, may I again remind you not to say someone's name and say you know them. Let me say, oh, I know that person.
Fair enough. Let's
Thank you.
continue.
Only list
Let me
shows
make a
that are
note.
Upcoming and not past shows.
The ones tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So it's same lineup on that. Let me try it. There we go. Yeah, they are willfully difficult.
Giving you
I think
the runaround.
it almost doesn't matter in Vegas who the comedians are as far as their marketing is concerned, right? It's just what they sell is stand-up comedy, unless you're like a George
and
Wallace.
the Cellar as a brand.
Yes, exactly.
Very much
yeah,
so.
yeah.
So
Is Rita Redner still doing her show, or did she just completely pull out of Vegas and everything?
I don't know. I know that George Wallace finished his residency, and he's working on a bunch of new stuff. He brought notes up and stuff.
I love that guy. That's always, and he's
Yeah.
got the yellow
guy's
legal pad.
Yep, he's a class act, man. He's the best.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing.
Listen, it's an unsolved mystery. If I didn't recognize the last name, I know if I see him, I'll recognize
It
him.
is Storin, Storin.
Oh,
And
that does
yeah,
sound familiar. Yes.
Yeah, but Tracy Skeen is
Oh,
headlining,
yeah.
is
Okay.
hosting tonight.
Okay.
And Noah Garden Schwartz and Orlando Leba. Yes. Orlando
I'm glad you
Leba.
found it is not listed on the ticket website.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, it's a project. No sweat.
$23. What a
And
deal.
That
It is a deal.
That's
And
got to be one of the cheaper shows in Vegas.
Yeah, like that's a good lineup for that.
right. Super fun. And then Mark Cohen, of course, hosted last night. Tracy will host tonight. And then Mark will be back. I do enjoy how Mark Cohen, because I had met him only a little bit. And the last time I did this week, you really get to know Mark. By the end of it, Mark is always just like, he does that New York thing where he talks to every member of the freaking audience.
Right.
Instead of, and then he does a couple of bits, but he mostly, there's so much crowd work with New York hosts.
Yes.
It's amazing. I don't even get it. It feels old school, but also a waste of time. And that feels, of course, but it isn't probably. I'm sure it's something.
Unless you like hosting, I mean,
unless you like that, you're right.
The hosts get paid as well as or better than the people doing spots. Now you can't run around as much, but if you're hosting 3 shows a night at a club, you're making good cash.
Yeah.
So
and you are making cash. I walked into this Las Vegas gig, by the way.
Yeah.
And right, because okay, so I'm 8 days in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I did, I think, 22 sets, and I flew back Sunday morning because I was supposed to do Oxnard, but Marie had the flu, and but I got bumped up to Delta 1. They came and found me.
Tell me about this.
So
it sounds like you've been made the president of the United States.
Right. It felt like that. So I don't sleep, right? I take a cab to JFK. I get there at it's a 6:20 boarding. I get there for a 7:00 show, the 7:00 flight. I'm in Delta Comfort on the window, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I go and I sit down and I'm almost asleep because it's 6:00 in the morning.
Sure.
After a 3-hour sleep night.
And you had late. It was Saturday night, so you had late night Saturday spots, right?
I was supposed to do a 12:15, and I've 19 stories at once. Here they are. But Chappelle wanted to work at the stand, so both of my very late sets were canceled.
Okay.
And as I said to the booker, I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And he goes, "You're the only one who's happy about that." And I said, "That's because I would like to sleep and read a book." I did a 1 a.m. set at the Cellar on Monday.
How was that? And then we'll get back to Delta 1.
Right. It was fine. First of all,
sold out?
It was
sold
almost full. Almost
Jesus.
full.
Jesus.
And Dave Attell went after me.
Wow.
And after me, holding a Starbucks in his hand.
Oh my God.
God, he had he was working on new stuff too. He had notes as well. Janine Garofalo has really done a service for stand-up comics as they age, because we can bring notes up. And so,
you know what? I don't feel like I could bring notes up on stage at the Cellar, but I think Attell kind of owns it, so he can do what he wants.
Right, it's his home club. So, but because Ryan Hamilton also tried a bunch of new stuff too, but he didn't have notes. He just sort of meandered around, and and it made me think that I could do new stuff, but no, Jackie, they don't know you from Jack, and go to the vault. So, okay, so Delta 1, I'm sitting in Delta Comfort. Flight attendant comes up to me and she's like, "Are you Jacqueline Kashian?" And I was like, "Yes." She said, "Would you like to sit in first class?" And I was like, yeah, I would. Wow. And so I get up, and it's a lie down JFK to LAX.
Oh my
all
God.
The way flat.
Oh my God.
I got 2 hours of really good sleep. And then I woke up to get this. I woke up to say to the flight attendant, "Could I still get my breakfast?" And he said, "Of course, I'll bring you your frittata."
Oh my God.
And next to me was a postcard that was handwritten with a pen from the previous flight attendant thanking me for my 1,000,000 status.
Oh my
And as she
God.
walked by, I was like, this is so nice. Thank you so much. Am I expected to keep this? So here's the thing, you guys.
Jackie,
I am awkward.
You
I'm
take
not-
everything from a plane. You take the blanket. You take
I
it
don't-
all.
Not a postcard. Not the.
You
I
take
did.
the
I did
seatbelt.
bring the. I did.
You rip the
I
seat
did-
back off the seat. Walk out with it. You take it all.
It's a float device. It's a floating device. I did bring a little handmade bag from Mexico that had an eye mask and earplugs and something else that I could put makeup in if I wanted to. Very sweet. Anyway, yeah, Delta One got home, but I will say this: I spent more time in green rooms and hanging out with comics than I have in a long time. New York is a lot of sitting around at tables.
Just waiting for your set.
Waiting for your set with mostly dudes. And I forget what that's like. Because in LA, you do your set, you might hang out for 40 minutes. You might stay for an hour and a half. You don't hang out for 4 hours.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I had to talk any number of older comics off of various ledges more than once.
You don't have to say the comics. Describe the ledges they're talking about.
Let's take a quick break.
Oh.
And then I'll tell you about this guy. Okay. So this guy I saw 3 times. He's in the chat. So, and he had various degrees of depression. And as I was talking to somebody, someone was like, was it Israel? And I was like, only once, surprising. And so it was aging one time.
Yeah.
Just getting older in general.
Yeah.
And worrying about retirement.
Yeah.
2, comedy, not getting the work.
Right.
And trying to get clubs and trying to get back into clubs. Like trying to do the same thing everybody's doing, whether you're 28 or 68.
Yeah, it never ends.
Then never ends. No. As my father said when just think about that documentary with Joan
Rivers,
where she was like, the scariest thing is an empty calendar.
Yeah,
right. Literally, that scene haunts me. Like a prayer for Owen Meany, it haunts me.
Yes,
anyway,
I know.
And then the third one was Israel and the state of the and then there was a couple of different, both not as much at the Cellar because most of the comics at the Cellar are a little older. Almost all the comics at the Cellar were, I think, at least 40, late 30s, 40s, and at the Stand, they're a lot younger. So there were some guys in their mid to late 20s who wanted to be kind of edgy. And then there was old button pushery dude. God, I can't remember his name. But he knew me because he wanted to talk to me about, and I'm not in a great place right now.
Oh, I know.
Are you gonna?
I think.
Did I explain?
Wait, is it this guy? Whoops,
that was one of the edgelords.
Okay.
Wannabes.
Okay.
That was one of the edgelords.
Okay.
The older guy was wearing he was, and I can't remember his name, and he's not listening, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but he's more our age, and
I'm just curious about the topics.
Okay, well, his topic was he wanted to be a button pusher, the older guy, and knew more how to do it because people look at me and they're like, "Oh, right, she's not a dick," and she probably isn't using the N-word or trying to button push or trying to find a way to make fun of Asian people in an awful way. So he used the term to describe it is the Romany people who traveled around Eastern Europe and went into England and were rousted. So that is a term they don't enjoy. They use it with
What?
themselves a
Oh,
little bit, but as a
okay.
Whitey Magoo, we're not to use it at this time. Much
One
like
would say the G word
yeah, sure, like
rhymes with hipsy.
and the Inuits and the Alaskans and the they don't want to be called the E word, right? And you I don't that nobody it doesn't cost me you know what it cost me right there? It cost me about a minute and a half describing how people don't want to be called those things. That's where the real price of it was. How about I fucking call people what they want to be called? What do I give a shit? And if it was used pejoratively and you don't want to hear it anymore, I don't want to hear anybody calling me fat. My dad is real close to it right now. Fuck off. So it's anyway. So this guy literally said this to me, and I almost, but I knew that because I just wanted to go. Oh yeah, you know you're just trying to light me up, huh? I get it, man. You got like a 5-year-old daughter, don't you? And then I almost said something horrifying that I did not say, and I genuinely
say it now.
I was like, say it. I was like, how's her pussy taste? You're 5 years. And yeah, and I was like, oh, is that
Jackie?
Oh, is incest too much? Is incest is too much? Is that does that make you feel uncomfortable when somebody guess what else makes people feel uncomfortable? When you use the N-word or pejorative, misogynistic or racist comments. Maybe if I say something weird about you sticking your penis in your little boy's butthole, you're not going to want to hear that either. And I'm not an edgelord, but I was this fucking close to just going, you want to play? Because here's the thing about stand-up comedy. When you had, and what he was doing was essentially heckling me, right? That's what that was. That is a fucking heckler. And when I'm being heckled on stage, there's 4 levels. We've talked about this before. And if I get to the 4th level and I'm seeing red spots in front of my face, and the things that are going to come out of my mouth are not going to be positive. It's not, it's going to hurt.
Oh, Ness, you've just given us a display of what is just barely beneath the surface. And it's horrifying. Yes.
Right. You don't want to dig in this. Guess what? You're going to hit a wire. Yeah, you want to talk to the Department of Water and Power before you fuck with me. Because I do not. I don't want to be that person, and you don't want to let that person loose because I'm going to hurt your feelings, and you're going to be sad that I hurt your feelings. And so that was the same night as another guy was just as I was getting up to leave. He goes, well, he was talking to somebody else, but he goes, well, to be devil's advocate. And and I stood up and I said, devil doesn't need an advocate, son. I'm leaving. And I just walked out because you know what? The devil doesn't need an advocate. The devil's doing just fine. Yeah.
Those guys, I know that kind of guy. They're all over comedy and they love to argue about potential things. They love setting up scenarios and then just arguing. It is a way to pass the time when you're stuck in a club for 4 hours.
You know what? That's exactly what it is. They're just bored and they're like, well, let's. And I'm like, you have got to get another hobby. You literally have got to figure out something else to talk. Like, what are you reading? Right? Do you like baseball? Right? Oh, one kid, one of the young guys, the guy that you just typed, was talking to me about sports and about how the injustice of trans women playing women's professional sports or college sports.
Oh my God.
And
they
all
care
I could think
so
was so much about women's sports. Why do I think 3 years ago that guy was just bouncing off the walls dissing WNBA? And
exactly.
He could not have been.
Exactly.
I could not have been. I shocked him so bad because I just said, guess what? I don't care about athletics ever. If you want to play a sport, I don't care who wins. I hope everybody wins. I hope nobody wins. I hope everybody had a good time. And he literally was like, what? And I said, yeah, I don't care if anybody wins. And he's like, wait, you don't? I said, at all if they win. And then I had to walk away from that kid. Anyway,
there's so many people that had chunks on the WNBA for a little while. It became like a topic, right?
It was in the zeitgeist. Everybody was
it's making fun of the fact that women would even try to have a professional football team, right?
Basketball.
No, yeah. So, but here's the thing. I mean, the WNBA is actually doing really well now. It's kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, attendance has picked up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and women's college ball is going bananas because of Caitlin Clark and Ashley. No, what's the
Judd?
other? No, she kind of they got in like a fight, and I don't know, whatever. But what I'm saying is, it's becoming popular, you know,
right?
And it's like now those bits are looking like comedy doesn't age well a lot, and the WNBA bits that kind of guy did for that time are not going to age well either. But they tend to be the same guys that are incredibly worried about women's sports and the integrity. You know, it's so boring.
Hey, we forgot to do comic of the week.
Whoa.
Let's do it a little bit late. 10 minutes late, you guys. I know you've been looking for it. just scrubbing through the show going, who are they going to talk about this week? And it's a woman that Maria got to work with in Florida called Cindy Ann Boisson. And she is from Trinidad. And Cindy Ann is fucking hilarious. I just watched a bunch
really
of her
funny.
reels.
Same.
And Maria really liked her. She got the Maria Bamford bump in addition to the Jackie and Laurie bump. So find Cindy Ann. And Boisson is spelled Boisson. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I should have looked up how to pronounce it. I think
that's right.
She's from Trinidad, right? But she's Florida. She lives in Florida. But
you know, the French pronunciation was taken out. Like Colbert is actually the French, but it's most people do Colbert. And he went
his brothers. Yep.
Yeah,
he went with. Yeah, it's true.
Well, I guess we'll find out when.
There you go, Cindy Ann Boisson. We will. One day we might get to meet Cindy Ann Boisson, and you should all find her because she's pretty great. What do you got this week?
Me? Yep. Oh my gosh! So in addition to this surprise headlining tonight at the Irvine Improv, so I'm opening for Gary Goldman. So I'm opening for Gary at Salt Lake City, being very well paid at Wise Guys Comedy Club, which has never worked to me, right?
Right.
And that's fine. I'll do, I'm happy to perform for money and excited to perform in front of what I'm assuming is going to be a really great, smart crowd because I've opened for him at Largo and they're really great and smart. And but there was only one show on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. So they are having a late show on Friday. And last week they asked me to headline it. So I was like, yeah, sure. And I just double checked with Gary that it was okay to promote it. I wouldn't promote it if they didn't want me to. Also, I don't want to, it's a weird position to be promoting in, because honestly, if you want to see the best comedy show, you should see Gary and me, get a little bit of me and all of Gary Goldman. Second best would be all of me. Okay. And so that's kind of, that's what's happening. I hope that the club isn't Jackie, I don't know what you're doing or who I'm talking to, but I'll just pretend somebody is listening to me. You just spoke for 20 minutes. I was riveted.
Yeah, I'm riveted. Your schedule is riveting, but literally all it makes me think of whenever you talk about your schedule is like, do I have any work? I mean, and it's not fair.
Jackie, I just listened to you talk about the seller for 20 minutes without going off onto my calendar.
Right. Well, that was because it happened in the past, Laurie. That's right.
No.
If I was saying, hey,
the past
next.
You are.
Anyway.
I'm a mother. I see when a child is reaching for excuses, and you are doing my son level of excuses.
Let me tell you something about this day. I can't do anything right. Fuck off. Anyway,
yes.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm headlining the Friday night at 9:30. Now, I hope that they're not, using this as a measure to see how I can fill a room, giving me A, 1 week's notice, and B, a show I don't feel comfortable promoting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hopefully, however it turns out, I just don't, I'm not going to go all in on, you got to see, if you're in Salt Lake City, there's one show to see, the 9:30 show. It's not. It's the other shows. They might get sold out.
It's the other shows. But if you want to see a Laurie Kilmartin long set, stay after Gary's show. Matter of fact, on the early show, you might just say, you guys want to see the rest of this set? Don't forget to buy tickets for the next show.
In fact, if I'm closing out the show, maybe I'll just do that. So that's cool. That's happening. And I've been clipping out. I posted an abortion joke.
Nice.
I'm trying them out on different apps to see how they respond. YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, I put it up, and it's just like constant, nonstop abuse, and you're disgusting, and just just like fury. And then Reddit,
they're furious at your miscarriage. Fuck those people. Did you hear what France did this week? It's a constitutional amendment.
Yeah.
Abortion is a right. The first country in the world.
So stupid. I can't believe
24.
Right.
Yes.
So, and then I put it up on Reddit, and that seems to be more comedy fans. And so it's more positive. Yeah. Reddit, and their stand-up comedy. They have a stand-up comedy Reddit. So people post clips all the time.
Watch me.
No, I will pause while you write that down. Yeah.
I'm going to write the word Reddit. Thank you.
Steph Tollef had a bit where a guy left the room and then came back, and she went back on stage, and she said that one took off on Reddit, and then it got posted on Twitter and stuff. So anyway, it's a place to post stand-up. And then today I threw it up on Instagram and TikTok, and
that's where I saw it. Yeah,
we'll see how that goes. It depends if I always invite Comedy Dynamics to collaborate, and so far they've always collaborated, but I never know if they're going to. If they're like, wait, we put this on one of our specials. No, thank you, because they have they also have some very conservative or comics. You know what I mean? On their
and they've done any number of people's. Yeah.
Yes, I'm always worried they're going to see one of my bits on their special and go, who okayed this? So we'll see if they put it up. If they collaborate, then it'll go out on their feed, and then way more people will see it. So
I just saw my Don't Tell that I recorded a month ago, and he wants to use the whole 14 minutes, but he said we did edit it down to 10, where you get right into where the audience is yucking it up. But the first 3 minutes has a bunch of jokes that are very good, and I think would clip out just fine. But it does feel, compared to the rest of the set, it doesn't feel like a slow start, except for it feels like a normal stand-up where people are getting to know me. People are getting to know me. People are getting to know me. And then, yay, comedy with the laughing and the talking. So I told him he could do either one. I said, you can have all 14 minutes of it, or you can just post the 10. I didn't mind either of them. I wasn't, I thought my outfit looked really good, because I remember I hired a stylist.
Jackie, I'm like, why are you worrying about jokes when your outfit looked good? I mean, you are good to go. Let him do what he wants.
That's what I said. Yeah, you guys use the extra 4 minutes of jokes, and then turn them into clips that are incredibly well shot. How about that? Because it is beautifully shot.
It is. What?
Yeah, my outfit did look really good.
Why doesn't everyone shoot the way they do? I don't get it.
I know, but that guy Kyle is a genius.
Furniture store, and it looks like fucking phenomenal.
Right. I was at it was outside of a surf store in Redondo. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It was ridiculous. So, I just, right before us recording this, met with a different social media person, Ophira's social media person, who got me verified on Instagram. And
she did that for me as well.
Oh, good. And and got me 30,000 new followers.
How?
Right after she got me verified, and then I posted a clip. Remember the clip I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks? It's
Yeah.
at like 8.5 million
Wow.
spins and spins.
That 'cause
like
you
it's
got
the 1950s.
Is
And
that because you got verified? Is that the
I
post
think
just
the algorithm popped it to the top.
wow.
And so, but she was also showing me all the analytics on it. And it's more important to get views than followers. Followers are very hard to get right now because of the way,
That's what someone else said.
yeah, that it's almost impossible to get followers now because the algorithm isn't, because our phones are listening to everything we say.
Yeah.
They're giving us content before they're showing us the stuff of the people we're following. So we get sucked into the scroll before and then we have to go look for the people that we're following. So
right.
and then
yeah, someone at I forget which comedy table I was at was saying that their own kids don't follow people anymore. They go the TikTok gives me what I want.
Yeah. Literally, I go on TikTok and it's doggies. There's puppies.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's or a soldier meeting his long lost wife. Whatever.
Right,
I mean, that's like some sort of weird ass.
I get a lot of people doing neck and leg prevention exercises.
Oh my God. I have two new premises, something I don't need, but Jesus H. Christ, it made me, as I was walking back from the stand on Saturday night before I came home, I was looking at it was, 11:30 at night, walking up Park Avenue. And so I'm seeing a lot of sort of young tech bros and young, middle management people.
Yeah.
And every guy between the ages of 20 and 50 were wearing, and this is an ad I get regular on Facebook, are wearing those pants that are made of sweatpant material, but they look like dress pants and they have belt loops. Kyle, have you seen them?
I am aware of such a thing. I do not use them, but I am aware.
Isn't that what Beta brand was?
I don't know what the brand name is, but I was talking to my brother about it. He was like, you can wear them like 10 times and then they kind of pill up on you and you throw them out and they cost $18. And I'm like,
fast fashion.
They look, but they look dressy for a heartbeat. And I was like, there's no way anybody's throwing them out after 8 wears though. And he goes, yeah, that is a problem. And then they look janky and gross, and guys are still wearing them.
How did we go down this path? Were we talking about something?
Yeah, I am sorry. Social media. It was
yeah. So So confirming what you're saying is that followers, kids are not following people anymore. They're waiting to be served what they already liked.
Right. So you're looking at views and whether they're non-follower views or follower views. You're looking at the analytics on that. And hey, let's take our second break real quick. So here's the other thing I learned from the woman I met with today is that, so we looked at my YouTube. It took her less than 4 minutes to fix my monetization problem. Yeah. And immediately the $300, hold your applause, that Microsoft has been holding hostage for these 2 years. Since I turned off ad monetization on all of my videos because it was just, I wasn't making any money. And so I was like, well, then why make people watch the ads or skip them? And so it took her seconds. She was like, okay, then we just do it this way and it'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, approved, blink.
Oh,
and
cool.
Then we went into the analytics of this and we found out that all of my views are coming from men between the age, like 50% of my views are from men between the ages of 18 and 24.
Oh,
do you have
that's
that?
No, I don't know that I have that age. I think I have closer to my own age, but yeah, a lot more men than I would have thought.
And it's insane. I was like, I know I'm your favorite aunt, but Jesus Christ, this is taking it really to an analytic level. So very fun.
So is that your
matches
shorts?
Everything I've ever experienced in the wild.
Is it?
I don't have
YouTube
any shorts.
So it's like your longer videos.
It's all the longer videos. But what I found out is that when you post any YouTube video, if it's under a minute, it is a short.
Yeah, right.
They make it a short.
Mhm.
Also, hashtags, don't worry about them. Don't do more than 3 on Instagram. But tags on YouTube, do all of them. And I haven't done any tags on any of my posts.
Wait, hashtags on YouTube or tags?
Hashtags on Instagram. Regular
Wait,
tags on YouTube.
So what do you mean regular tags? Just
There's a little hole that you type into
Yeah.
called tags, as opposed to hashtag stand up, hashtag comedy, hashtag whatever.
so you don't put a hash before it, hash mark before it.
She said the hashtags aren't working on Instagram. What you should do is you should put it into the, like, if I were to put Dungeons and Dragons is great, it would get more algorithm response than hashtag Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, is that new?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry. I know your videos are so cool, but it looks like it's working.
who knows? Who knows what's working?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You can't.
Interesting. You can't
There you
tell.
go.
All I can do is put out stuff, and that'll be my little jobby for the year, and see what happens at the end of the year.
Okay, let me talk about this before we go. Is
Okay.
that while you were talking, I looked up and I have no work in April. And
Me neither, Jackie.
my
me
April is
neither.
empty.
Same.
Empty. So if we get Moon Tower is in April, so that's always a possibility, a last minute possibility. But the other thing that I decided just now is to be happy about it. Because what that means is I can pick up sets and work on the new premises.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a positive, glass half full, whatever.
Right.
But I would also like some work.
But I just want to inspire all the young comics out there listening today is that you can release a comedy special to mostly very high acclaim and have be in the calendar section of the LA Times with including the print version and still not have work 2 months later. So all your dreams can not come true. Don't stop.
Oh, the print
Whoa,
version.
there
I
we
saved
go.
it because I drank the JLS Kool-Aid long ago. So I'm
I saw that image and I made it
the
into a
show.
sticker.
Oh, I saw. I love it.
Hell yeah.
That's
made
my feet right there. That's one of my least favorite yoga poses is, like bending your knees on top of the balls of your feet. It's I wobble and wobble. It's not good, but I held it for a second and a half while Bruce was clicking.
Okay. Well, there you go. He did a nice job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go away, even though we're at 58 minutes.
Oh, that's, I support you in that.
Okay.